This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
This is the smell of a warm 3-day-old egg salad sandwich in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech!
And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a Hefty Ultra Strong trash bag with new Fabuloso lemon scent.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? When life gives you stinky, get Hefty Ultra Strong with new Fabuloso lemon scent. It smells like clean, freshly picked lemons. So no matter what's inside your trash, you can stop the stink and smell the lemon.
Patrick Jones from Patrick Jones Baseball, and the very first guest of the morning show, the Foul Pole morning show. So, man, thank you for joining me today. It's an honor to have you on.
Tyler, I appreciate it, man. It's an honor to be here. We just recorded an episode together for my podcast, which will be coming out next Monday. So excited for that one, and excited to be on your show now too.
Yeah, we finished that up. It was fun for me, and I can't wait to dive into that one and just listen to it again, because when I hear you talk, it gets me thinking about different things and getting your perspective on stuff. And a lot of our opinions are the same, and then sometimes we differ, but that's what makes us better and makes us learn. You were talking about the approach and trying to help athletes with that mental approach. So kind of tell me and the audience here, what's the main disconnect when you talk to young athletes about the approach and how they build their approach?
I think the biggest disconnect is there is no emphasis on having an approach to the plate or a plan at the plate. Mm-hmm. I think we have become so obsessed with mechanics, and I think a big part of that is because you can't visually see someone's approach, right? You can't see what they're thinking, but you can see their mechanics, and so it's easy to be able to diagnose someone's mechanics.
Right.
But it's a little bit harder to be able to see why I don't I know exactly what their approach is right here. What you don't exactly know, but so I think it's very important as coaches to start teaching them at a younger age and start planting those seeds for getting them to understand their own swing, getting them to understand what they should be trying to do when they're in practice in the cage. And eventually that transformed into their approach during an actual game. And so it allows them to have an actual plan. So they're not just going up there just swinging just to swing. And so, but more than anything else, it's going to help their production out. Like they're going to be able to handle better pitchers consistently because they have an approach, and they're not going up there and just trying to see ball, hit ball, which may work at lower levels of competition. But Tyler, I think we both know, having seen the level of pitchers at the college softball level and even for professional level, it just doesn't work when you get to that level. If you try to cover the entire zone, you end up covering nothing.
Yeah. I was this weekend, actually yesterday, I had a small mini clinic, and one of the first things that I was talking to the girls when we started swinging was, I want you to have a pitch in your mind, and I want you to have that pitch location. If it's not that pitch location that you want, I want you to act like you're ahead in the count, and you're not trying to cover the whole plate. You're just wanting to pick out your pitch and hit it. Be aggressive on your pitch. Don't be aggressive for every pitch. Be aggressive on your pitch. That's just like one element that I kind of help them with their approach. Now, when you break down approach for your athletes, how do you go about, you got a brand new athlete, and you're teaching kind of like pitch selection, like what they should be looking for, what they want to hit. How do you kind of break it down for them and at least start a foundation?
So there's three questions that I will first ask myself about the hitter, and it's what, why, and how. So what's the lowest hanging fruit? What's the one thing, if they improve upon, it'll take their game to the next level? Why is that the case? And then lastly, the how. How are we going to help them get there? And so once I understand what that lowest hanging fruit is, the what and the why, which a lot of times is pretty easy to understand, then it becomes the how. And so I view myself, and I stole this from another coach. I had him on the podcast a while ago, but I view myself more as an interviewer than I do a coach. And so the reason why is, if I tell a hitter exactly what to do, it doesn't come from them, and so it may not stick as easy. But if they feel like it comes from them, it's their idea, right? It's more likely to stick. And so it's important for me to ask very good questions and to, listen to them. And so they feel like, because of those questions, they're answering them themselves. And so it becomes their own approach. And so they own it now. Instead of me telling it to them, they own it now. So I would say for me, the majority of the time, Tyler, especially with high school hitters and even a little bit younger, the biggest thing that I see is players either, jumping out hard on that front side, or some would call it lunging at the ball, or they fly open too early. And so I think it's important to have a foundation. I think you need to be able to learn how to hit to all fields first.
Right.
You see this a little bit even in baseball, where there's an obsession with pulling the ball and hitting home runs and things like that. And I think that's awesome. But what we're not talking about is those are grown adults who have been hitting for 20 years, 15 years. So they know their swing so incredibly well. They've already checked off all the boxes of being able to hit to all fields. So of course, since they know how to hit to all fields, they know how their body moves and everything. Now their approach is maybe pulling the ball more, but that's because they've learned how to do everything else first.
Right.
Nobody talks about that. So we have to check those boxes first. So teaching them to hit to the opposite field and to do it correctly is something that, I hate to cookie cut it like that, but it's something that for pretty much every hitter that I work with, it's something that we do focus on, just because I see so many kids jumping out hard on their front side or flying open early. And a big part of that is a lack of approach of anything. It's just seeing the ball and trying to hit it as hard as you can and pull it, which causes bad movement, as we know. But I would say the first thing is just starting out, getting them to understand and getting them to be able to hit the ball consistently with power to the opposite field, and then view it as you're earning the right to pull the ball.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I see it myself and other coaches that it's almost like we'll take a hitter, once they figure something out, we jump on the next thing and we go to the next thing as soon as we can. So once we get a little bit of consistency with their swing or with contact, we're like, okay, now, so let's start hitting inside pitches. This is what we should do. Okay, this is what we're doing if we're getting something down and away and it's a strike, we got to go for it because we got to. We start to complicate it for them. Man, if we just tell a kid to go up here and swing it and do your thing, and we can build a fundamentally sound swing that they can get comfortable with, it goes a lot further than trying to add all these other different elements to the swing that they're just not ready for. And it doesn't matter if they're 10 or 12 or 16 yet. It just depends on where they're at developmentally. So, in your experience with that, when you're talking, and it doesn't matter the age of the kid, how many times have you had to stop yourself and go, whoa, hey, let's just hang out right here, let this athlete get comfortable, let them build some confidence right there, and let them have this feel, of what they're seeing?
I think I have that conversation with myself every day. I think as a big part of it, one of the things that I've learned, the more I've coached over the years and the more hitters that I've worked with, it's just patience. And it's very hard, especially in this era of having to be very, really good right now. But you can't rush development. You can't force development upon somebody. And so I think it's also educating the parents on that too, where just because someone has a bad weekend doesn't mean we have to go back to the drawing board and start doing everything different again, right? It's normal. It's a good thing. That's part of the development process.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, Tyler. So last year when I would coach for the Baltimore Orioles in their organization last year, and I had the number one prospect, right? He's right now the number one prospect in all of Major League Baseball. His name's Gunnar Henderson. Mm-hmm. And I had him last year when I was with the Orioles in Single A and Low A. when he got promoted to high A, he started out, I think it was 0 for 32. So he's the number one prospect in all of Major League Baseball. He was 0 for 32 last year in A ball, in single A, right? He's in the big leagues now, a year later. And so imagine if he would have just completely revamped everything, and hit the panic button and went back to just, he may not be who he is right now. Right. So a big part of it is we just have to understand what we're trying to get these players to do. I don't care if it's hitting a softball or baseball, whatever it is, hitting a ball coming at you is the hardest thing to do in all the sports. So we have to be patient. You have to trust it. And I know it's hard. It's not easy because we want that instant feedback, that instant gratification right away. But this is where it just comes into, you put in the work and you have to trust the work that you're putting in. And if you do that over the long haul, it'll pay off. But if you after every weekend, you're starting to overthink every single little thing, it's going to be a roller coaster ride, man.
Yeah. I think about those athletes that have that summer schedule, the national level schedule, where it's like 6-8 weeks, and they could either have the best time of their life or for whatever reason, they just didn't have a good couple of weeks. And then imagine that feeling that little girl has now. She thinks she's blown her shot. Like, I'll never get this back. But what she doesn't realize is coaches understand that too. This is just a 3-week clip on this long journey. So how do you help athletes when they come to you and say, or you've been working with them, and it doesn't matter the level, professional athletes, how do you help them kind of, let's just get back to what we are. Let's not change anything. Let's figure this thing out.
Yeah, I think it's defining what is success in hitting. Is it solely getting hits? Is it hitting the ball hard? Like, what is it? And so I think too many times if you're chasing statistics, and I get Game Changer and all that stuff, I think Game Changer, for example, it's a great tool, but I got to be honest with you, Tyler, I don't care what any 15-year-old's batting average is. Is 500 really good? Is 300 good? I have no idea. And I get people who tell me this all the time. So-and-so's hitting 550 or 4. I don't know if that's good or not. And the thing is, I really don't care because there's so many nuances that go into that, defense, competition, everything. And no college coach really, I'll be honest, cares a ton about that stuff either. So for me, it's like, okay, I don't want the hitters that I work with to be results driven. Right, where they're just it's all about getting hits and the statistics and everything. I don't want that because I know that they will get better statistics if they don't focus on that. Yeah. If they focus on being process oriented. And so what I would recommend to people out there who are listening to this, players, coaches, parents, is whoever your daughter is, let's just focus on the 1 to 2 things that they can control every single at bat, and then their success is determined on whether they did those 1 or 2 things at bat. Right. It's not results driven. It's not did they get a hit or not, right? Maybe it's did they swing at a pitch they can drive, right? Or right. That's controllable. You can't always control what happens after you actually decide to swing. You can control if you swung at your pitch. You can control if you were on time or not, right? It's things like that are more process driven than being results oriented. So when I work with players who are starting to struggle, that's what we get back to more than anything else. And it takes all the pressure and stress off of them. The first off, which is a big part of continuing to struggle, is you start to feel everyone's paying attention to you and counting on you and this and that. And I think the funny thing of it, Tyler, is nobody's actually paying that much attention to you as much as you are. And that's the thing. Isn't that crazy? Right. Like if you go 0 for 10 and you acted like nothing was wrong and that you were playing great or whatnot, I bet you nobody would really, outside of you and maybe your family, nobody would really know that you were 0 for 10, right? They know you're 0 for 10 because now your face is all down and you're walking, shoulders shrugged, everything like that. That's why they know. Yeah. But so I think it's understanding that and then also being process oriented too. So I hate using the word fake it till you make it, and I don't really necessarily believe in that. But a part of it is just not letting the results of how you do during the actual game affect, what you view as success at the plate.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.